All right, let's dive right in. Today we're looking at the Renault Twingo Electric, that little European city car. We've got 3 YouTube videos lined up, all from owners in Italy. So we're getting the real deal here. No marketing fluff, just real-life experiences.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how the Twingo Electric handles those Italian streets, those charming, sometimes chaotic roads. This is where we separate the hype from reality.
Exactly. So first up, we've got Lorenzo. He's just hit his 1-year anniversary with his Twingo Electric. And he's already clocked nearly 14,000 kilometers. That's more than he drove in his old petrol Twingo.
Oh, wow. So it seems like going electric actually made him drive more.
Right. And get this, he charges his car with solar panels on his house. So picture this, cruising around Italy in your cute little electric car, powered by the sun.
That's the dream right there.
Seriously. And during the summer, it's basically free driving.
I mean, talk about taking advantage of those sunny Italian days. It's so cool to see how well EV ownership can work with sustainable living.
Totally. Okay, so let's get into the numbers. Lorenzo says he's averaging about 8 kilometers per kilowatt hour, which sounds pretty decent to me, but it gets even better in the summer. He's hitting 10 kilowatt hour. Of course, those chilly Italian winters bring it down to around 7.
Yeah, that's something we see a lot with EVs. The weather really impacts the range. Those official figures you see are usually based on perfect conditions.
It's like anything else. Real-world performance isn't always the same as what you see in a lab.
Exactly.
But hey, Lorenzo seems pretty happy with the range he's getting. And wait till you hear about the savings. Lorenzo compared his electricity costs to what he would have spent on petrol. The numbers are pretty amazing. He saved over 700 euros in just 1 year.
That's a big deal. We hear that from a lot of EV owners. Even if the initial price is a bit higher, you save so much on running costs.
Yeah, saving money is always a good thing, right? And that's not even counting the potential savings on maintenance. Get this, Lorenzo's first service cost him a measly 50 euros. And they even gave him a free full charge and a car wash.
Wow. That definitely busts the myth that EVs are expensive to maintain. It seems like the opposite might be true.
Talk about great customer service. Okay, so we've talked about the financial side of things, but what about the driving experience itself? What's it like to actually drive a Twingo Electric?
Well, Lorenzo is absolutely loving it. He raves about the quiet ride, the instant acceleration, and the smooth automatic transmission. It's a completely different world compared to his old petrol car.
That's what's so great about electric driving. It's not just about being eco-friendly. It's about rediscovering the joy of driving. That instant torque, the smooth acceleration, the quiet cabin, it all adds up to a really unique and fun experience.
For sure. Lorenzo does mention the limited range, but it doesn't seem to bother him too much. He sees it as the perfect city car, great for zipping around town, running errands, and his daily commute. And for those occasional longer trips, he just plans charging stops along the way.
Exactly. It's all about knowing the limits of your EV's range and adapting your driving habits. A little planning goes a long way. Okay, for our second source, we're moving from a personal story to a glimpse into the future. We have a video from Quattro wrote. They're an Italian automotive magazine. And they reviewed the Twingo prototype.
Huh.
His prototype gives us hints about what the 2026 Twingo will be like. And guess what? It'll be all electric.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The design is something to pay attention to. They've taken inspiration from the original Twingo, giving it a retro modern look that plays on nostalgia. Remember that iconic little car from the 90s? Well, it seems like they're bringing back those good vibes, but with a modern electric twist.
I love that they're combining the past and the future. It's like they're saying, hey, remember this cool little car you loved? Well, now it's electric and even cooler. Yeah. And get this, the expected price is under 20,000 euro. An affordable electric city car. Sign me up.
That price point could be a game changer. It makes the Twingo Electric accessible to so many more people. And it's interesting to think about what this could mean for the EV market. Remember what happened with the Fiat 500? It got a fantastic electric makeover and has been hugely popular.
Right. And you're contrasting that with the Volkswagen New Beetle, which didn't quite have the same success in its electric form.
Exactly. So the Twingo, with its retro charm, potential affordability, and focus on city driving, it seems like it's following the Fiat 500's winning formula. It could be a real contender in the growing EV market.
Okay, so we've heard from Lorenzo, who's been driving his Twingo Electric for a year. Now, let's hear from Teox. He's been enjoying his for 3 years and has driven over 25,000 kilometers. And guess what? He's another solar-powered driver.
That's great. It's inspiring to see so many people committed to sustainability.
It really is.
And hearing from someone like Teox, who's been driving the Twingo Electric for 3 years, it gives us a valuable perspective on the car's long-term reliability and performance. We're getting a glimpse into what it's really like to live with this car day in and day out.
Yeah. And just like Lorenzo, Teox is really happy with the efficiency of his Twingo. He's averaging an impressive 11 kilowatts per 100 kilometers, even better than Lorenzo's numbers. But here's where things get interesting. Teox says he always charges his battery to 100%, and he hasn't noticed any degradation.
Really? That's interesting. We often hear that it's best to keep EV batteries within a certain charge window, usually between 20% and 80%, to maximize their lifespan.
Right. So it makes you wonder, are we being too careful with our EV batteries? Maybe if they're more robust than we think. Or maybe Teox is just lucky.
It's a good question. It's something that researchers and manufacturers are constantly looking into. Battery degradation is complicated, and lots of factors can affect it, like charging habits, temperature, and the specific type of battery.
It sounds like we need to explore this battery degradation thing a bit more.
Definitely. There's a lot more to learn there.
Okay, back to Teox. He's honest about the Twingo having a bit of a firm ride, but he immediately follows that by praising its maneuverability. He says it's a dream to drive in the city, easily navigating tight corners and finding parking spots.
Yeah, that makes sense. In a crowded city, maneuverability is key.
Absolutely. And after 3 years with his Twingo Electric, Teox is still giving it a thumbs up.
That's a testament to the Twingo Electric's appeal. It seems like a car that really delivers on its promises: efficiency, practicality, and a fun driving experience.
All right, so we've heard from 2 Twingo Electric owners, both incredibly happy with their cars. We've had a peek into the future with a new model coming in 2026, and we've stumbled upon this intriguing question about battery degradation.
It's been a fascinating start to this deep dive.
It really has. Let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll compare the Twingo Electric to some of its rivals, dig a little deeper into that battery question, and see what we can learn about the wider EV market from this little electric car. Stay tuned. So you mentioned the Fiat 500 Electric earlier. I'm curious to hear more about how it compares to the Twingo Electric. They both seem to be doing really well in the city car market.
Yeah, it's an interesting comparison. They're both part of this new wave of electric vehicles designed specifically for cities. And I think understanding why they're successful can tell us a lot about the future of this segment.
Okay, so let's start with what they have in common. Both the Twingo and the 500 Electric tap into that nostalgia factor, bringing back those classic designs that people loved, but with a modern electric twist.
Exactly. They've managed to capture that vintage charm without sacrificing modern technology and performance.
And I think that's a big part of their appeal. It's like they're giving you the best of both worlds.
Right. And let's not forget the practical side of things. Both cars are small, which makes them super agile and easy to maneuver in tight city streets.
Oh, yeah. Remember how Lorenzo was raving about the Twingo's turning circle? It's like you can turn it on a dime.
Exactly. Those compact dimensions are perfect for navigating narrow streets and finding parking spots.
For sure. But they're not exactly identical twins, right?
Hmm.
What are some of the key differences between the Twingo Electric and the 500 Electric?
Well, one big difference is range. The Fiat 500 Electric offers more range on a single charge, which might be important for some drivers.
True. But as we heard from Lorenzo and Teox, the Twingo's limited range wasn't a deal breaker for them. It really depends on your individual needs and driving habits. If you mainly use your car for short trips around the city, you might not need a huge range.
Exactly. And that brings us to another key difference price. The Twingo Electric, especially if it comes in under 20,000 euro, could be significantly more affordable than the 500 Electric.
That's a huge difference. It could make electric cars accessible to a whole new group of people.
It could be a game changer for the EV market.
Totally. And what about the technology? What kind of features do these cars offer?
Well, they both have those modern EV features that we've come to expect, like regenerative braking.
Okay, can you explain what regenerative braking is? I hear it all the time, but I'm not sure I fully understand it.
Sure, it's actually pretty simple. When you lift your foot off the accelerator or brake in an EV, the electric motor basically acts like a generator. It converts the car's kinetic energy back into electricity, which then recharges the battery.
Oh, I see. So it's like getting a little boost of energy every time you slow down.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great way to extend the car's range, especially in city driving.
That's really cool. And what about fast charging?
They both offer fast charging capabilities. Maybe not as fast as some of the high-end EVs, but still pretty quick, making them practical for everyday use.
Right. And then there's that whole mystery about battery degradation that we talked about earlier. TX hasn't noticed any issues after 3 years of charging to 100%. It really makes you think,
Yeah, it challenges some of the things we hear about EV batteries.
maybe we're being too cautious.
It's possible, but it's also important to remember that TIOX's experience might not be typical. Battery degradation is a complex issue. It can depend on so many factors.
Like what?
Things like temperature, charging habits, and even the specific type of battery.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Right.
Okay, let's get back to TAX's experience with the Twingo Electric. What else did he have to say about the car?
Well, he mentioned that the ride can be a bit firm, but he loves how maneuverable it is. He says it's a joy to drive in the city.
Yeah, he made that clear.
It seems like a car that's really well suited for city life.
And he's still happy with it after 3 years.
That's a good sign.
So we've talked about the Twingo Electric and the Fiat 500 Electric, both great examples of electric city cars. But let's zoom out for a second. What does the success of these cars tell us about the bigger picture of the EV market?
Well, I think it shows that electric cars are becoming more mainstream. They're not just a niche option anymore.
Yeah, it feels like we're at a turning point.
Exactly. And the Twingo Electric is playing a role in that shift.
So where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's time to explore those broader trends in the EV market. Let's see what the future holds for electric vehicles.
Welcome back. I feel like we've covered so much ground with the Twingo Electric, from those real-world owner stories to the upcoming 2026 model. Even got into some deep discussions about battery tech.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey.
So, the end of the last part, you asked a really interesting question. What does the success of the Twingo Electric tell us about where the EV market is heading? What kind of trends are we seeing?
Well, I think one of the biggest things is the rise of the electric city car. People are starting to see that these small, efficient, eco-friendly cars are perfect for urban environments.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, right? Gas prices are going up. We're all thinking more about the environment. And let's face it, electric cars are just fun to drive.
Exactly. And the Twingo Electric is hitting all the right marks. It's got that playful design, practical features, and it could be really affordable.
Oh, and that touch of nostalgia is definitely working in its favor. Renault was smart to bring back elements of the original Twingo.
Yeah, it's a great way to build trust and familiarity, especially for people who might be new to electric cars.
And we can't forget about Lorenzo and Telox, those solar-powered Twingo drivers.
They're really showing how EV ownership can fit into a sustainable lifestyle.
They're like EV pioneers.
It's inspiring to see.
And their story is resonating with more and more people.
Mhm.
People who want to reduce their impact on the environment without having to make big sacrifices.
And it's not just individuals. Governments are getting involved, too. Lots of countries are offering incentives to make EVs more attractive.
Like tax breaks and subsidies.
Exactly.
This can make a big difference.
Especially when it comes to the upfront cost of an EV.
Yeah, it could be that little push that people
Right.
need.
And as those incentives become more common and the technology keeps getting better and cheaper, we're going to see more and more people switching to EVs.
It's like a chain reaction.
Exactly.
The more EVs on the road, the more demand there is, which leads to more innovation and lower prices.
It's a win-win situation.
So it really feels like the future of transportation is electric. And the Twingo Electric is playing a part in making that happen.
It's a great example of how style, practicality, affordability, and sustainability can all come together in a car that appeals to a lot of people.
But as we wrap up this deep dive, let's remember that this is about more than just replacing gas cars with electric ones.
Right. It's a whole new way of thinking about transportation.
It's about creating a cleaner, more sustainable world.
And ultimately, a more enjoyable driving experience.
Well said. So, as we sign off, I'd love to hear from our listeners. What role do you see electric vehicles playing in your life, both now and in the future? Head over to our social media and share your thoughts, your questions at EV Dreams. We want to keep this conversation going. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of the Twingo Electric